Yo, what is up, everybody? We're live for another episode of WrestleSense. It's going to be a fun one. A couple of surprises on the way here tonight as well, but we're going to talk one of my favorite subjects, and I know it's pretty near and dear to heart to some of the boys, too. We're going to talk about commentators of the past and the present, but you know how we do it. Let's talk to the fans, all the friends, all the members, all the moderators, all you people out there hanging out with us. Wally's in the house. There he is. Good to see you, Wally. Tito's in here as well. Good to see you, Big Tito. Welcome in, welcome in. Count Z is here. Oh, we'll get to that, and you guys can fill out the poll we have up in the live chat right now with our controversial thing that's going down right now in professional wrestling. Juniper, thank you for being a member and supporting the channel. Count, thank you for being a member. Tito as well. Thank you guys for being a member, supporting the channel. I appreciate y'all. Well, who else we got here? Who else we got in the building? We got Juniper, Tito, Crushing Kelly. There she is. Welcome in. Thanks for being part of the show. I appreciate y'all. Kenzie's here. Good to see you, Kenzie. Welcome. Daniel Barry's in the building. There he is. I know he's waiting for football season. Yes, sirree. All the way down under. Andy Price on the other side of the planet. Always a pleasure, my friend. Always a pleasure. Colby, what's up, man? I haven't seen you in a minute. One of my friends from CE Sports, Colby Sports. Good to see you, my friend. Wild Matt Outlaw in the building, too. Oh, God, Monstar's here. Doc got a boner, I'm sure. What's your butt, buddy? Monstar's here. Oh, boy. They're going to give me shit. All right. Well, we're talking commentary, so I got my own little commentary team here. Check it out.
Hey! Oh! I could resist.
What's up, Ray and Doc in the building?
Okay. Hi.
Literally from the side there.
Yeah, well, hey, he pays well.
And we could not have the show without good old CJ.
What is going on? Little sucked from the side.
So I promised a little surprise, and
Here's Mrs.
all right. Give me a minute here as I have a little surprise for you guys, and before we get to the I'll give you a little rundown before my surprise shows up here. First of all, we're going to talk about the local focus again. We're going to hit some local, of course, some local wrestling. We're going to talk about first. We're going to talk about the week in review, and we'll talk about two different segments of commentators. We're going to talk about the greatest commentators of the past and ones of the present. So, gotta have a commentator here. We got Jock. Why not bring on surprise? It's church, baby.
What is up?
What is going on, guys? How is everyone?
It's
Tired.
a callback to the original Real Deal.
It is.
My former compadre and the constant procrastinator of Doc's life.
He's definitely the Bobby Heenan to my Gorilla Monsoon. So,
for those who don't know, Church,
Appreciate it.
Back in the day, me and Ray got the pleasure to work with our friend Church, and Doc still gets the pleasure of working with him at the booth. So
yes, before there was WrestleSense, there was the Real Deal Wrestling Show. We were actually on Real Radio before all this internet bullshit.
On WMB.
And Church was one of the founding members of that. We did every week for quite a few years. Yeah. And then when I started in RWA, the very first commentary team that I hired was I don't fucking know.
This guy. It's a pleasure. I had to keep it a secret. I've been trying to get Church on here for months. But yes. Thursday nights aren't the best. And I bugged him a bunch, and he is like, you know what? 25th, I'm there. And I'm like, cool. We're actually talking about commentators.
Love it.
It works out perfect. We're going to talk our local focus first. Before we get into the week in review, we're going to wrap that all together. And we're going to wrap in the commentators in two segments as well.
Just got to wrap it before you tap it.
That's right. Let's make some sense of pro wrestling from the side. Okay, so as promised, we are going to talk a little more about local wrestling, and we have some people around me, not me, that have a lot to do with the local scene here and have for a long time. So we're going to get right to it. As part of making some sense of it, here's our local focus first, and we'll talk about the weekend review. So, Doc, first and foremost, this is the Revenge Pro show we were talking about. Pressure lock. Is there any highlights from the actual? There's an incident we'll talk about afterwards, but tell us a little bit about the show itself. We talked about
incident,
a happening.
A happening. I thought it was an amazing show. It was the first time I actually got to commentate for Revenge Pro Wrestling. I tried I brought my A game. And myself and Tony Kincaid, which Church is not too much of a fan of, who also
Damn, I should have brought them both on. We could have let them go at it.
I could send them. Right? Now, you know what? Let Church save his energy for Saturday, because he saves my ass every time he's around.
Last time Tony Kincaid and I were in a room together, he almost had a heart attack. So
yeah, he did. Yeah.
You mean this?
With me and Rev. Violated in that picture.
Oh my God, Tony's face is the best.
I could have went back to this one, but we know he's watching.
I'm at a black and white gala. So no, I am not watching.
Dapper. So dapper. So dapper.
Hey, you did look good.
Does. Very good. Very good. Cleans up very well.
Joe, I was nervous. You can ask CJ. I was nervous out of my mind because
I think you both were, and I had to calm Tony down a little bit.
So. We'll get at that. This is the deal. Yeah. Like I said, I mean, it was just really awesome to call the main event. It was an awesome tag team. Gannon Jones Jr., the metahuman Duke Davis. Those guys are so awesome, and it was kind of cool to catch up with Gannon because I worked with Gannon in VOW for a little while, and it was just, like I said, just to meet some of the guys that I got to I actually met John McChesney, who I used to love as a youngster being, watching the indies. So it was really cool.
John's still doing his thing, man.
And it was
this is, for those who don't know, this is Erie, Pennsylvania.
Yes, Erie, Pennsylvania,
Yes,
at the
John McChesney.
fabulous Avalon Hotel.
The
For
Northwest.
those of you who don't know, John McChesney has been a mainstay of Pittsburgh wrestling for the last 15 years. And he was has worked for WWE, has been crushed by Umaga.
He was in the opening of Raw for like a couple years, I think.
During the entire Nickelback Burn It Down thing, they had Umaga destroying him. And we've both seen McChesney destroy many an alcohol supply of a small city.
But like I said, being part of this was really awesome. So I do want to actually personally thank CJ for actually getting my name out there and getting me into this. So
who's the champion up there, Doc? Who's the who's got the gold up there? Collier?
Big time.
Yes, big time Bill Collier. Actually, the next Revenge show is Wednesday Night Wars, November the
23rd.
23rd. Okay. And it's going to be, big time Bill Collier against Big League John McChesney.
We talked about Collier before, and you guys, if you remember back in the day, he did make an appearance on AEW, so you may have seen him on TV before. TJ, good to see you. Check your Twitter messages, my friend.
And you can't keep telling like people that CJ does favors for people. He has a reputation to uphold.
So
this you're watching
based off of
the is $20
based off the Pressure Like game show. So like literally there was stipulations added to the matches based off the game, Doc.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was just like the game show, Press Your Luck. There was a whammy.
Nice.
I thought that
there
was
a whammy.
What happened if they got the whammy? What happens if they got the whammy?
Oh, CJ helped me out. It's a good support.
I mean, the whammy was it wasn't really a whammy, but it was a whammy for who was in the ring.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that the happening? Was
No.
he the one that got the whammy? And
No,
No.
That was just somebody coming out and.
So then if you heard about someone who made an appearance at Revenge this past weekend, our friend Doc has a little picture of him. And it was the one and only TNT champion, Wardlow.
And I mean, if you want to get technical, even though it isn't really maybe the truth, I guess I refereed a TNT title match.
You actually did. Yeah, you
did. I guess, yeah.
So tell us how did it went down? How did Wardlow end up showing up? There was a guy in the ring, made a challenge, or
the Man Dime Elijah Dean was in the ring pretty much berating the officiating of the tag match, since he said that he was the legal man and never got pinned. However, with 4 tag teams, it's kind of lucha style rules, so there wasn't really any tags necessary per se. But he said he wasn't leaving the ring until someone came out to face him. And he said you could send the biggest and the baddest. And needless to say, he's probably regretting that decision.
Yeah,
So,
like what happened to him.
For those that don't know, he used to fight in Revenge Pro, right?
He was the first Revenge Pro Wrestling World Champion.
That is correct.
2PW Prospect Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Champion.
Oh, really? Well, there you have
No, Wardlow was never in.
I meant
Oh, okay.
Revenge. I mean,
Wardlow was the first Revenge champion.
Yeah, that's it. Excuse me.
So the crowd pop was pretty.
It
pretty
was
wild.
Fucking insane.
Yes.
Because I just asked Doc before it. I was like, "Did you know that this dude was even in the building? As a commentator, because his call was gold."
CJ did really well because I walked backstage. He's like, "You gotta go."
I'm like, "You can't be back here, dude."
He's like, "Hold on, eat your pizza, hurry up." He's like, "What?" Pizza's like, "Are you done? Goodbye, bye."
Yeah, I'm like, "You can't be back here, dude."
Yeah, I was like, I thought I was getting fired already.
Well, you gotta. I mean, honestly though, that was the best thing that could have happened for the product. I mean, having that natural reaction to a holy shit moment is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We saw that with Pat McAfee and Michael Cole whenever Liv cashed in, and they had no idea that shit was happening. That their reaction was so genuine. And if you go on, there is videos of Doc calling the Wardlow thing, and he is shitting his pants. And
Yeah.
He
It's
legitimately
gold. It's gold. It's really good.
It was awesome. What was funny was I wasn't supposed to know, right? So 2 seconds before that man walked through the curtain, Marcus Mann, who's the other co-host, throws a message at me and says, Wardlow's possibly coming on his phone, and then just put it down and looked at me and smiled. And I was like, he's ribbing me. I'm just thinking he's just ribbing me because Marcus could do that sometimes. And Church remembers Marcus. He didn't really like him in RWA, but we were.
I don't think
Many
Church
people did I like
such
in
a
RWA.
bad, evil man. Church hates everyone.
He likes me 50% of the time. But the thing is, I literally was like, yeah, okay, sure. And then boom, this is where like the whole the screen, everything popped, and I literally was like, this is my Shivani moment.
Yeah.
You remember Shivani? It's Sting. I was like, I'm becoming this man's Shivani.
It was pretty fucking special. It was
was.
pretty fucking special. So
So
and
Church,
shout out to Wardlow for the other things.
Church,
We
you've been
talk about that.
yeah, we'll get to it. Hold on, I gotta ask Church a question. Has Doc ever literally shit himself sitting next to you? I mean, you sat next to him a million times.
I mean, it's come close plenty of times. It has definitely come close, especially whenever look at him. He can't even believe it. Hey, listen, things happen, shit happens. Almost out of Doc's ass numerous times. But
I didn't smell as bad as the one co-host we used to have.
the fact, listen, we're not even going to get there. Okay. The fact of the matter is,
I didn't hire that one.
when you have somebody the size of, like, say, Beast Man coming at you, Doc's going to shit himself. And that almost happened.
Screamed at that moment as Beastman was running towards the table. Thank you.
Yeah, well,
Who ran out the door and left his partner?
The one time I stepped in an RWA ring, I think I shit myself.
Look, for those of you around the nation who don't know of local Pittsburgh wrestler Beastman, YouTube it. And you tell me if that greasy 300-pound motherfucker running at you probably wouldn't incite some diarrhea thoughts.
Yeah.
So what these guys are alluding to is there was a bigger story even than him showing up, was the fact that Lady Frost had a table with little wrestle buddies and this little girl couldn't afford one. And out of the blue, here comes Wardlow to buy it for this little girl. And it just, you guys were right there when it happened.
I was literally standing right next to him whenever he was like paying her the money for the wrestling buddy. And I was wondering why he was buying it.
Like, you know what I mean? Like 9 times out of 10, the only stories you see about wrestling that hit mainstream is negative.
Yeah.
This is something good about, obviously Wardlow's doing okay financially. Obviously, that's his home promotion and a place where he, cut his teeth, and he sees some girl and thinks, hey, I can make this girl's not only day, but probably her year, her life. This is going to be something to remember.
It's
for
awesome.
What, $40? I mean, how fucking awesome is that? And how awesome of a dude is Wardlow to do something like that?
When he bought it, when I watched him buy it off of Lady Frosty, and I was like, hey, let me get one of those. And she's reaching in her bag, and she's like, here. And he's like, here. And he's trying to give her the money. And she thought it was for him. She's like, what are you doing? He's like, here, I need this. He didn't say much. And then
Don't need to, man. That action speaks a lot.
That's superhero.
And I'm sure,
it is.
I'm sure without a shadow of a doubt, he didn't want the publicity that came from that.
No.
Just felt like it was the right thing to do.
That's why he was so secretive about it.
Well, it made a lot of news across the internet wrestling community, and nothing but praise for the guy stepping up and doing something he didn't need to do.
And that's the type of dude he is. You hear stories about like all these people that, no one could say a bad thing about, and Wardlow is one of those people.
Well, I can say a bad thing about this guy.
Oh, Jesus, y'all like replace me with another fat guy. What the hell? I get skinny and y'all get fat. What the hell, man?
Jeez.
Doc and I like a Megazord.
Jesus, like I got the Twin Towers in one. I got a church the size of a church. I got CJ who hasn't seen the Manus costume in a hell of a long time. Jesus, man.
And Easy's not in his car. He's in a tunnel somewhere, it sounds like.
No, I'm here. I'm making the donut. So somebody's got to make the donuts. It might as well be me. But I just wanted to come on and say hello. I heard the church was on. I had to harass and break his balls a little bit. you know, and
He's
is
good
what
at
it
it.
is.
He can take it, I'm sure.
I'll be
No,
right
I can dish
back.
it out too.
look, I come in and CJ leaves. You got to take a deuce. You know, it's that common. But everybody good. I hope everything's well. Hope you're back next week, and you know, just stay positive. I had a bad day today, but we'll chalk it up to another day.
Yes, sir, my friend.
Boston cream donuts. God damn it!
Tomorrow's
I just
another
made
day.
24 of them. All right, guys. Bye.
He's got go make the cream.
Yeah,
Yeah, don't say anything bad about him. He'll give you the Powerbomb Symphony. That's right.
I watched that live. I actually called that. It was kind of cool. Queuing up the band, and then it was awesome doing it.
So a little more of a local focus here coming up this Saturday. We have some people involved in this RWA Resurrection this Saturday at the West Newton Gym here in southwestern Pennsylvania. Anything notable to say about this one there, Doc? Besides, we mentioned it before about a month ago.
Other than the Rock and Roll Express, but also Daniel Wees, the man of tomorrow, finally gets his third match. The series is 1-1 against our own Brian Johnson.
And you can't say anything about this show without talking about you're going to have Chris Taylor, the returning Chris Taylor, who returned last month at RWA, teaming with the Rev Ron Hunt to take on RWA World Champion Ryan Edmonds and J-Rock in a tag match where the winner, if it is Rev or whether it is Chris Taylor, get a title shot. So big stakes with the Rock and Roll Express, with all that else going on. Make it out to West Newton. There may or may not be a Bruiser sighting.
There may be a Blaze sighting as well.
Off.
Did anybody see Rev and Chris Taylor's promo in the mall?
Yes, it was fucking.
It was hilarious.
I saw
was that
the one
Century
going to
3?
the bar.
What mall was that? They were in an empty mall. It looked like Century.
Mall in Butler, Pennsylvania. Or no, wait, that was the Galleria in Johnstown.
Okay, well, all the malls look like that now, but
myself and Church are going to be. We've called Chris Taylor matches now for over a decade. And Chris Taylor and Rev, you and Church, back me up on this. They have had probably one of the most outstanding feuds between two people we have ever seen.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, the fact is that feud not only transcended RWA, but I mean, it spawned in other promotions and just focused its way over to RWA. I mean, it has gone on for years and years, and now that they're teaming together, it's one of those things where it's just like, is it fate? Is it kismet? Is it just good storytelling?
The worst of enemies can become the best of friends, you know?
True that.
Yeah. You have saints and sinners with championship implications.
Exactly.
So basically the promo was Taylor and Ron Hunt in an empty mall talking about teaming together, and they walk into this store and there's a wrestling ring in there. So Rev's saying, look, we can train. He goes, I've been a wrestler for a long time. I can train. I got a different idea of training. And then they show them walking out of a bar, drunk as fuck, stumbling over themselves, and Taylor goes flat on his face to end the promo.
Awesome?
That's
very
Taylor
funny.
Guess who got a call at 2 a.m, a video chat call from both of them?
Oh, jeez.
No, I'm sorry. Last call, 45. They decided at 1:45 a.m. to call me.
Of course.
I woke up to that.
I
had to babysit them via phone.
I was prank called with a bunch of laughing around 1:30, and I had no idea who it was until the next day when I saw the video. And I was like, these motherfuckers.
Yep.
So I'm sorry I missed it if you guys said it. Who are those two fighting against?
J-Rock, Daddy, and Ryan Edmonds.
Yeah.
Better give it up one time.
Is J-Rock the champion right now still?
No, it would be simply the best Ryan Edmonds. However, J-Rock has a belt that doesn't even count. But you know what? It's just.
This has been said many times. J-Rock will do whatever the fuck he wants. Yeah.
So who are the Rock and Roll Express working? Do you guys know or not?
They have a match against the Sons of Liberty, which is HL Supreme, the artist formerly known as Super Hentai. Yes. And, of course, the War Machine, Dennis Gregory.
I saw someone with a great sign in RWA. It said, Supreme, I love your tacos.
What did it say?
That's kind of like Pittsburgh wrestling royalty right there.
My son's watching.
Did it say, did the sign say, find butts in dudes' nuts?
No. Hey, Jesse Jackhammer, good to see you, my friend. Welcome in.
If you love RWA real quick, you want a good story about a sign? Church?
Yes.
Go.
Oh, my God. Oh, I knew why. Why would you bring this up?
Cheers. Go ahead.
So, so let's be honest. Some people are not the brightest at times.
Never.
So,
It is Western Pennsylvania too, so Pennsylvania.
yeah. There was a little girl who had a sign. And when I say little, I'm saying what she would have been 10, 12, Doc, roughly around that time, somewhere in that ballpark.
Half grammar. Go ahead.
So there was a tag team of Gory and G Raver. And one of their taglines was they wanted to infect the world. Well, this girl decided she wanted to support that. So she made up a sign that said, infect the world. However, world was not spelled the way that you and I and everybody else in the world spells it. Instead, her sign said, infect the Wallard. WOLRD.
I wish you didn't spell infect like a different word that could really make it.
I thought you were going to say it was
incest the world would have been worse.
So here's the best part, though. Somebody went and asked her, hey, I like your sign. Did you have help making it? And she said, yep. My daddy double checked it and made sure it was good.
Well, it was good, all right.
Good job, Daddy. Scissor me, Daddy ass.
So let's just infect the Wallard.
Well, you'll have that. We talked about 2PW not too long ago. So and then they announced the next show, which I'm going to try to be at for sure. And then I saw the poster. Look whose face is on there. How about it?
Yeah,
the face of a referee on the poster. Is that a first? You're a legend, dude.
I don't know. Like I told you before we came on, someone had messaged me and was like, "Is that you inside of the S?" I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
It is.
So they sent me the poster. I'm like, "Huh, yeah, I guess that is me. That's pretty fucking cool."
Yep. I didn't notice that until like today. Like the poster's been out for what, about 2-3 days now, and I was
something like that. Yeah.
I think you should just change your name to Side Sensation.
There was a comment I was waiting to talk about. There was a comment. Where's that? Oh, Monstar. Because there is a Lego match coming up there, and they had a little Lego incident on NXT.
I'd rather take thumbtacks than land on Legos. Straight up.
I could agree with that. Actually.
Yeah, I've never taken.
Yeah, there you go. Quite a few. Hello, son. I hope you're listening. I
stepped the Walmart.
You can throw thumbtacks, light tubes. Fuck your Legos, man.
Yeah,
fuck the light tubes.
We always say it. Check out your local wrestling. These guys below me have all been directly involved with it around here in many different ways. I'm just glad to be a part of it, and to be involved and start to meet these people has been a blast. And I'm going to bring you some more footage from maybe RWA this Saturday, maybe this show coming up at the end of the month in September as well.
Involved with a whole bunch of ring rats.
Yeah. Speaking of commentary and rats, I may have had somebody do commentary and give it up one time while I was in extracurricular activities.
Oh. Interesting. So extracurricularly, that's our local focus for today. Just talk about a couple shows locally, and we'll touch base on them. If I end up going to them, maybe Ray will be there. We'll have some fun with it. Those other guys will definitely be there. They're working the show, so we'll see how it goes. Give you guys some reports once again, and you never know who's going to show up at some of these shows. We've talked about it. You see it on the intro. There's a lot of wrestlers that come from this area that you may or may have not have known come from this area.
A lot.
And maybe more in the future, hopefully, with the talent that we got in all these federations around here. Let's get to
it, Blaze. Stop wasting time. Let's talk about what everybody's bitching about.
Well, we'll get to that. We're going to talk about. We're going to go a little bit chronological.
I'm ready to do it fucking now.
And
let's do it.
So we had some changes in the hierarchy of WWE. I thought this was great when he got hired. These pictures started going around of him trying to figure out how to work some of the machinery. So Shawn Michaels, we talked about that last week a little bit too with him in NXT, but there was more shaken up in the executives as these two kind of switched places, so to speak.
It's kind of a career path of them taking each other's jobs. I mean,
Right?
old
Yeah.
Road Dogg song.
With my
Fired
baby tonight.
So what do you guys think about all this? Do you think it makes a difference? Is it definitely, Triple
It's
H
just
all written all over it?
Team back. I mean, that's all it is. So Jeff Jarrett was released as the senior vice president of live events.
I
Road
don't
Dogg
think he was released. I think he left on his own accord.
They said he was
No,
released. I read released.
And Road Dogg was brought in as the vice president of live events. I guess he's not a senior vice president, but still same position. And that's just Triple H putting his team around. I've heard that Ryan Katz, the former writer for NXT, is also back with the company. I heard Heyman is also now involved in the creative process. I heard Pritchard is still with the company for the moment.
I hope
in a
he's
creative
gone.
role. But, I mean, that's just Triple H bringing back his black and gold team. I mean, that's Road Dogg was heavily involved in that before he went up to SmackDown. Obviously, Ryan was the head writer for NXT during the black and gold era. Now he's back with the company. And we've obviously seen Triple H's stamp on the product right now with Gargano and Ciampa and Dexter Lumis. So it's all good for me. I mean, I'm excited about everything happening. But
you're forgetting the big news that I saw earlier today. Vince McMahon went on a double date with John Cena.
Oh, jeez. So, but we talked about Jared whenever the Ric Flair debacle happened last month, and we were all kind of said, "Boy, Jeff Jarrett looked fucking good."
Yeah,
I mean, he looked like he was in shape. He could still go. You guys think he gets back in the ring?
He was
Doc.
the show.
To be
He
honest,
stole
think
the
he gets-
fucking show, and it was Ric Flair's last match. But when he come out, them fans were rap. They were booing him, and they even used the old TNA that doo-doo-doo-doo music, and it was awesome. Especially he's walking down, he looks at this dude and goes, "Yeah, fuck you!" And I'm like, Bodie, don't repeat that.
to be honest, though, when GCW did that homecoming a few months ago,
him and Effie
going back, Jarrett worked this like desperado kind of old gunslinger
the
gimmick.
last outlaw.
Yeah, there you go. And it was fucking fantastic.
It was.
It looked
It
great. The
was.
match was great. The character was great. Jeff Jarrett is not a bad performer. He just needs to not try to run a fucking company.
Yeah.
So, do you guys think he's going to get back in the ring?
I think him and Conrad are going to end up starting their own promotion.
It's very possible.
I did heard rumblings that Conrad wants to do a last fight again next year.
Mhm.
The two people that he asked already turned him down, though. But if he can find someone, why not? I mean, we talked about how fun the undercard was.
Huh?
Go ahead, do your last match.
Yeah, give me a couple more months and I might be ready.
CJ's
I'm in the
last match.
process of fighting my last match against diabetes right now.
Oh, geez.
Me and Wolford fucking Brimley.
All right, let's keep. Oh, Jesus. So SmackDown. We saw a lot go down SmackDown. The thing I'd like to talk about is Sami fucking Zayn.
He's been gold from day one. It's just they've misused him. And obviously now with Triple H, we're going to see more of Sami Zayn getting to be the character that he is.
Yeah.
That crowd in Canada was insane for him. I loved it. And Bodie was so confused. He was like, Dad, wait. I was like, no. So I said, when you have like your hometown, they're gonna get behind you, man. And he was like, he just couldn't like his mouth. I was starting to cheer for Sam. I wanted Sammy to win that match so bad.
The honorary Oos. Hell yeah.
Look,
I love it. I can't wait to see how it pans out.
Let's be honest. There's no tag teams right now for the Usos to fight and they have any real threat.
Him and KO.
Him and Owens back together.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Let somebody finally
I
take
agree.
the tag titles off of the Usos. The biggest thing that came out of SmackDown, though, excitement-wise for me, is we're getting fucking Gunther versus fucking Sheamus in a I'm going to beat the shit out of you match, and I cannot wait for it.
Yeah, they're gonna hurt each other.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind any of those guys winning that main event, but after Sheamus won, I was like, that makes a lot of sense. Those two big sons of bitches are going to beat the hell out of each other.
That is it might as well be an Idaho potato factory. There's going to be shit thrown like fucking crazy in that match, and it's going to be entertaining as hell.
Even Bodie said, Bodie was, this is gonna be stiff.
Yeah.
That's a good explanation. So next week, we're obviously going to be covering 3 big shows that are coming up next weekend. So we got a lot of previews to do for next weekend. And honestly, how about this? The Viking Raiders. Who do you guys think that's who everyone thinks it is?
Logan.
Yeah, it's Sarah Logan. Come on.
Mrs. Ray Rowe, she takes
Oh
it.
yeah, you could tell by the hair.
Yeah.
I think. I wasn't a big pound your chest war, that fucking shit. But now that they're trying to remake the War Raiders, the Viking Raiders, I think this is a pretty cool way to go. It was a cool vignette, something different.
We'll see.
Yes, we'll see. And like you just said, tag teams, and we'll revisit that here in a little bit. How they're seemingly trying to pump up the tag team division. Friday night, Claudio calling out just about anybody, and Dustin coming out. What do you guys think of that match coming up?
We saw it firsthand in Pittsburgh. Punk and Dustin had a fucking amazing.
It was fucking fire.
He can't go every week, but he can strap on the boots every few months and put on a fucking classic match. And him and Claudio, I feel, are going to do just that. Yeah. I really hope they give them 20 minutes. I mean, I know it's a TV match and they cram a ton of shit into Rampage, but if they give them 20 minutes, it's going to be a highly entertaining match, I think.
Hook beat the shit out of Zach Clayton in a couple seconds. Best friends advanced in the tournament. Athena and Jade look like they're on a collision course, swerving our glory.
Blaze, just to bring something up real quick, because it's driving me absolutely insane. Your graphics, every couple seconds, they're going blurry and then back to fucking normal, and I'm not sure if you were aware of it or not.
Okay.
It just happened right now.
Yeah, it's slow loading like back in the day.
Well, let me start up my AOL.com. And see
it just did it. Yeah. Just so you're aware.
Just log into Netscape, then go to the C prompt and type "fix yourself, asshole."
Yeah, I downloaded them from Napster, so that's what you get.
LimeWire. Anyway, sorry.
So we saw the return of Trish Stratus.
Still gorgeous.
She looks fucking phenomenal.
We saw the return of Beth Phoenix. Yeah. So any comments on those two returns? You guys think they're going to stick around? Is Trish going to stick around and fight?
I don't know. Her promo was pretty good, though.
I think you see Beth versus Rhea. That is like the battle of the monsters.
Well, they're saying that we're going to get Ray, Edge, and Beth versus the Judgment Day, which I'm fine with. But I really do want to see Trish versus Bayley. I think Trish can still go.
Oh, yeah.
I think she is, an attraction and attractive. Obviously, she looks like a fucking 10. I don't even know how old she is, but
she's got to be in her mid 40s to late 40s, right?
I'm going to be 40 in 2 weeks, and I look like a tub of shit. She looks like a fucking god.
Yeah, you ain't kidding there.
So was she like Tori Wilson? Did they both do those muscle mags before they became fighters?
Trish? Trish was a famous model.
Okay, yeah, I thought they were.
Tori did Playboy.
Doing something right with their bodies and still going, especially if they can still go and fight and get in the ring and stuff.
Obviously, though, in that promo, the crowd wants to see Trish and Bayley too.
Yeah.
So, they have to finish the thing with Bianca Belair, but it would be something if we circle back around that at, Royal Rumble, maybe WrestleMania time, and we get Trish versus Bayley at Mania or something like that. That would be fucking awesome.
We don't normally talk about NXT, but they actually carried a storyline from Monday into Wednesday and
Tuesday.
I'm not a big fan of a certain person in this.
I love it.
As a lot of people say, but
love it.
This I loved. The intrigue here with the kidnapping, and
now,
no one really did much.
Guy?
They said the second guy was somebody from Battle Arts, Santino Morella's school.
Oh, okay.
He's not somebody known or whatever, but I told you that the thing with Dexter Lumis was involving The Miz, not AJ Styles.
Yeah, you were right. You were dead on with that, Ray, last week. And I love it. It's great for him to go after The Miz. And then this shit happened. If you guys want to talk about it, I'm not an Indy Hartwell fan at all.
You have hated on this from day one.
It was fucking
Let
gold.
Let the keeper have his punani.
Here's my point. And everybody can have their opinion. I don't want my stalker guy to be kissy facing with a girlfriend.
Then he got hauled off to jail when she knew that it was bye-bye.
She's going to bail him out or something. My goodness.
I thought it was like an epic kind of like.
I loved it.
Yeah, like Titanic type.
I don't mind having a love storyline, but not with the guy they're trying to make a badass stalker.
Dude, this
wedding was the closing of a chapter. If you notice how the doors closed behind her as like she's screaming, the door. That's a symbolization of a closing of a chapter.
The Dexter Lumis, Indy Hartwell romance and wedding was the best thing on NXT TV.
It was one of the best.
It was the best wrestling wedding ever.
Have you watched this? Have you actually watched and followed along with this one?
# fuck index.
NXT.
It's now trending.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've followed along with it. Listen, I don't get to follow along with it as much as I'd like to because one, I don't have cable, so
Me
I
neither.
don't get to watch Monday Night Raw. I don't get to watch SmackDown. I don't get to watch AEW when it happens. NXT, obviously, with the whole cock. I get to watch NXT on the cock. So beyond that,
that's the one I like.
There we go.
Give me some Samuel Shaw. So I had to bring this up because they did tie a story from Raw into NXT, which I thought was pretty cool. And we'll get back to NXT here in a second. We have one more thing, couple things left on Raw here.
Loved it.
Yeah. And how they did it, I think, was fucking Tits McGee on his feet.
No one knew, and that's brilliant in today's wrestling world.
And I am
word gets around.
For Gargano in theory.
Me too. Have Gargano take that briefcase from him.
So they're definitely going to feud. Do you think they team up eventually because they have history?
Absolutely
Nope.
not.
No one wants to see the Way come back together because I don't.
I want to see.
This is going to be one. I'm sorry, didn't mean to cut you off, but this is going to be one of those feuds that Gargano had back in NXT. This is going to be one of those feuds where both guys come in and they're kind of mid, and they come out a whole lot different because both of these guys can work their ass off. They're both great on the mic. You have the ultimate cocky prick heel versus Mr. Babyface underdog himself. And they're going to tear the motherfucking house down wherever they are on the card. And they're both going to come out of it looking like $1 million fucking dollars.
I agree. I like seeing Gargano there. We talked about our weekly Wyndham Wyatt watch and where he should go. And, I always said, hey, as much as I was a bigger AEW fan back then, I was like, WWE's the place where Wyndham should come back. And same thing with Gargano. I think he can really show what he can do here. Speaking of Wyndham, real quick, do you guys think this was a coincidence or is this something to do?
Let me hit this real quick.
Go ahead.
Hit it from the side.
From the side always. But what I'm trying to go at is when you look at Gargano, look what he did. He got rid of the loose change, which was Austin Theory. Yeah, you start a feud there. Then Ciampa's going to have a little problem with Miz.
Mm-hmm.
Who have we seen Miz team up with before to go against somebody? Austin Theory.
So you're going to DIY?
Yes, you're going to see DIY reunited to go. You're going to have those two versus Miz in Theory at a time. If you want to talk about awesome,
I dig it.
My 8-year-old never gets choked up when it's wrestling. It's either yay, nay. But my God, it was the first time I saw him. He got lit. He's like, I didn't cry. He had a little bit of emotion there because he has been waiting for his hero, Johnny Gargano, to come back for a while. And it was really cool to see his face light up because, my God, when that music hit, there was no commentary. There was nothing. He just walked out to the ring, walked around, and they still didn't talk. And I thought that was just a pure that's how you come back.
Yeah, let the crowd breathe.
Let the crowd.
Yeah.
And
people I think were maybe like confused at first until his name came up, and then they're like, holy fuck.
And one thing you got to notice too about that is when he went in the ring and took the mic, you could tell that was a very unscripted, off the cuff promo. They gave him a few bullet points or whatever, but he was able to. He didn't have that robotic, I'm back, I'm here, blah, blah, blah. Like,
no.
Pausing. He was emotional. He was genuine. It's a big change in WWE programming that I've been on this programming screaming about.
Yeah.
Day one that we started. I'm so fucking happy that we're starting to see it. I don't think we're there yet, but we're definitely getting in the right direction.
We're definitely in the right direction.
Do we get Candace eventually?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The women's division needs it.
She's loving being mom right now. So
yeah. In due time. Very good stuff. So what I was alluding to at the same time was the Wyatt. Last week they mentioned buzzards. This week Dolph said he got the whole world in his hands. Are these Easter eggs or just coincidence?
I think so.
I think they're Easter eggs.
For sure they are.
Actually, we talked about it being Dexter Lumis last week at the end of Raw during the Ziggler Fury match. We saw that hand reaching out behind the door.
Yep.
That hand had the motorcycle-esque glove with the holes in it that The Fiend and Bray Wyatt have both worn. We saw very, very minute.
I missed that.
But there has been sightings of his fucking puppets, like sitting on shit in the background. Not like where you could really see him. I mean, people are freezing this shit and blowing it way up. to see it. But there's little fucking hints popping up all over the place for Bray Wyatt.
love it. I love it. I hope
I
they keep
haven't
it up.
seen none of that.
You Google it, you'll see it.
That's good that some of them you can't pick up too, because that's what Easter eggs are all about. They shouldn't be in clear sight. So I love it. Let's keep teasing it until he comes back. I dig it. Moving on from Raw into, I told you we had to talk about a little bit more about NXT. Speaking of tag teams, now Legado looks like they're coming up.
Love it.
That's
they
another
were saying
tag
at
team.
first that only Escobar was coming up, and now it looks like the entire faction, which for us, we have a personal friend and
Fucking right.
Zima.
Joaquin Lyle, and we know him as Shima Zion.
Shima Zion, baby.
But it's awesome that they're coming up again. That gives us another athletic, great young tag team. And these guys work fantastic as a group. Escobar, whether it was back in Lucha Underground when he was, I don't even remember his name, but he plays a perfect shit heel. You know what I mean? He plays a perfect cocky heel, and I'm all for it. Again, we need this kind of blood. They've ran their course in NXT. We need new blood on the main roster. We need new feuds, and Triple H is just fucking pumping this shit in.
I say you make him face, to be honest.
El Fantasma.
Yeah,
I googled that motherfucking shit. So what?
I know. I say you bring him up as faces and not heels.
Put him against Hit Row. Let them battle. Two new tag teams. Hit Row. All right, now unification of championships. They talked about last week. We talked about NXT UK going away, NXT Europe coming. So why waste the talent they got there? They released most of them, but they're using Tyler Bate to go against Braun, and they're using Satomura as well as former Bea Priestley, Blair Davenport now. And they signed the contracts at the end of the show. I thought this was something different that we don't normally see. I liked it. What did you guys think? Did you guys get to watch NXT? I haven't been, but I'm glad I watched it. Because
I fast forwarded through it because I couldn't sit through the whole show. Just again, we have so much wrestling to watch.
Yeah,
but I do like this. I mean, it makes sense. It closes the chapter. They're saying it's going to be anywhere from 1 year to 3 years before NXT Europe opens up. So I'm all for them unifying the titles instead of just poof, they disappear.
Yeah.
And Tyler Bates is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they're going to bring some of that UK talent to the USA. I'm sure there's some of that talent that doesn't want to move across the pond.
Sure.
But unification matches, even if this is the only of them for the time being, closes the door on it and gives you something like we haven't seen Braun Breaker be a first-time match. It's going to be a big match because they're players. Granted in their own ponds, but still. It's going to be entertaining for sure.
They teased the tag team versus the UK tag team match, but not for Worlds Collide. I think it's for the week after or something. They said they were going to fight. So it looks like you're going to unify all the belts.
They're having visa issues with the UK tag team champions from what I heard. So we'll see.
They were on the show. I don't know if it was a pre-tape thing, but they were on the show just to show off the belts. And the other team was the Creed brothers was sure, we'll fight. I think they're doing a 6-man match first or something. But NXT was notable this week. Go figure.
Oh, yeah.
Go figure. And we'll see how that goes. So, all right, the elephant in the room. Last night's show, people were up in arms, all pissed off because it wasn't what they expected with the title match. So, who wants to go first? Because I got a lot to say.
I fucking loved it.
I liked it.
Okay, so I told you guys this. I told you guys this before we went on air when we were backstage. This is all, to me, in CJ Sensation. What is it?
Hey, work.
Thank
you.
So
before you comment, Ray, I got a poll up, and right now 39% think Punk is still injured or re-injured. 36% think CM Punk is being punished for calling out Hangman. 18% say it's all a work, he's coming back heel, and 7% say Punk is pissed and wants out of AEW.
I disagree with every one of those. I think what they did last night, it popped over 1 million viewers. That's the first time they broke 1 million in quite a while. So it did the job that they wanted it to do. The other thing is we had that promo, we had the pull apart brawl between the two. Yes, there was some interest in the match, but tell me you're not interested more now in what's going on than you were a week ago.
More people are talking about it.
And to find out what the main event is of All Out.
Well, we're going to find out next week. And what I think is going to happen, you guys can quote me, take this for what you want, is that Punk is going to come out. He's going to make comments about re-injuring his foot. He's not cleared to wrestle. He's not going to be able to fight Moxley in a sanctioned match. but he's willing to sign off. He wants it to be non-sanctioned. He wants his title back. He's not going to not fight in Chicago, blah, blah, blah. And I think you sign Moxley versus Punk in a non-sanctioned title match, which we know Moxley loves to fucking bleed all over everything. That was the one thing we didn't get last night. It was the first match Moxley didn't bleed a pint in God knows how fucking long, even though I love it. Don't get me wrong. But I think we get those two in a non-sanctioned match, which sets up perfectly for Punk to turn heel, as there will be no rules in Chicago at All Out. It will be an unsanctioned match for the world title. And I think there's some shit that's going to happen. I don't know if I want to give it all away. I told you guys some of my thoughts on that.
I'll give it away.
I think that's the fucking work going on right now.
Unless Punk is
really interesting.
Unless Punk is still legit kind of hurt and he couldn't go for the pay-per-view and they made a decision, let's do something else for the pay-per-view. I like being wrong. We do predictions and stuff, but when you're wrong and it's a surprise, that's good for wrestling. Like Ray just said, look at all the people talking about that match now. Most people, there's a lot of people it's polarizing. People are either like, wow, never expected that. But people were bitching about a 3-minute world title fight and it wasn't the main event. The main event was proven why it was the main event.
Yeah, it shouldn't have been the main event.
They made one small mistake last night with it. If you listen to Excalibur's commentary, he stated many times, this is a 60-minute time limit. They could take up the whole hour. That's why this match is going right now, blah, blah, blah. I wish they would have went into a little more detail. I wish even Justin Roberts, when ring announcing it, would have said that this is a 60-minute time limit match or TV time remaining, blah, blah, blah. And then I wish on commentary they would have said, if the world title match goes too long and we don't get to the 6-man tag, we're going to do it on YouTube or we're going to do it on Rampage or whatever, making you believe that this could be a 60-minute match. Because, again, at the top of the hour when that match started, you're like,
yeah,
I was.
Why is it?
You know what I mean? So I understand the reasoning in putting the world title match on at the turn of the hour because technically it's a 60-minute time limit match. Wrestling's supposed to not be predetermined, so technically that match could take up the whole hour. But I think they should have pushed that narrative a little bit just because while it makes sense logically, it's not something that happens. You know, even though you have a 25-minute time limit, a 30 time limit, a 60 time limit in WWE and most of the time in AEW, they're going to put it on with 15 minutes left in the night, and you're not questioning whether it's going to end by the time the show's over. They really didn't believe it was going to end.
My problem is people saying they're buried Punk. They punished him for this. The dude sells an injury. It's right on TV. Do you want him to continue to fight with an injury like that?
But he didn't sell the injury, is what I was
not the whole time.
alluding to before.
You're right. Doc, what's your take on the match?
See, what I loved about it was the simple fact is if you go back to like old days, or not really old days, but whenever Brock Lesnar fought John Cena in a SummerSlam match where he just completely smashed him, and everybody was like, what the hell? Like, what happened? I kind of felt that again. I kind of saw how Moxley just, boom, defeated him. However, Punk's selling the injury, which I think is what he still hurt. If you noticed, his one kick pass was a lot thicker. You could see the protection around that foot. And Moxley took damn good care of him in that ring. Number two, I will say this too. I really think you're going to see a return next Wednesday. Maxwell, Jacob Friedman will return to be the main event in All Out against Jon Moxley, which is going to drive the city of Chicago fucking bananas and ape shit. Not happy, pissed, because their hero is not fighting for the belt. And in All Out, I'm calling it now. CM Punk's going to come out with his crutch or whatever, and Moxley and the MJF are going to be bloody, battered. It's going to be all over. And CM Punk's going to whack Moxley with that crutch and cost him the belt and stand in the middle of the city that supposedly did love him at one point.
I love it. With
MJF, and you're going to see like an NWO style. Shit's going to be hitting the ring, and children are going to be crying.
Crying kids are so good for pro wrestling, though.
In Chicago.
You're right there, but you're a little wrong. Punk works the match. MJF shows up at All Out. MJF helps Punk, and Punk turns to his hometown.
I've heard that one, too.
And the third member of that group, when the Blackpool Combat Club comes to save Moxley from the beatdown, Hangman Adam Page's music hit, and our cowboy shit turns into the Outlaw, and he joins MJF and Punk.
I mean, there's so many ways it can go, and no one.
I'm just like I said,
I don't quite agree with the John Cena comparison. Brock Lesnar fucking destroyed John Cena. There was no reason, rhyme, anything about it.
You don't think Moxley destroyed Punk though?
He did, but the match was even for the first 40 seconds. They were at each other, and then the injury happens, and he kills it. There's a big difference between Punk got hurt and lost the match quickly versus if Moxley would have went in with no injury angle and gave him 18 fucking death riders and squashed him. Like, Brock's thing was like just dominance personified. That wasn't the case with Moxley. Like, it was done.
He went in for the kill, though. He definitely went in for the kill after he knew he was hurt. That makes sense to me.
But did he? Because he didn't work the leg.
Attacks.
No, he went in, gave him 2 Death Riders, and put him the fuck out.
What
Church, you got any thoughts on the match and how it went down or anything?
I mean, I saw bits and pieces of it. I didn't see the whole thing. It wasn't long to begin with, but I mean, I only saw a little snippet of it. The fact of the matter is, you got both of those guys that are great performers in the ring. So, telling a story, not telling a story, selling it, not selling it, it is what it is. At the end of the day, it's got people talking, and that is what it comes down to. It comes down to people talking about it, people posting about it on social media, getting the word around that if you're not a fan of AEW or you don't watch AEW, it's like, ooh, that happened. Well, now I want to watch and see what's going to happen next. That's what it is.
It's exactly. I love that. I mean, right now we've talked about the last few weeks. WWE's ramping up. Their matches are better. They're longer. They're getting wrestlers that we wanted to see. So why not do something that makes you talk about AEW? And they did. Here's another question coming up from the chat, which I thought it was terrible that Thunder Rosa didn't get to cut that promo on the ramp or in the ring. I think it's a shame. I think the women do deserve more time on the air. And that should have been a promo on the ramp, if anything.
It should have been in the ring, but if she couldn't get in the ring, that's probably why.
I think
it could have been taped too.
That would be the only reason not to do it in the ring. From what I heard, it's some type of disc issue in her back.
Yep.
So if they could have pre-taped it or taped it early and sent her home or whatever, I think that was probably the purpose or the reason that it wasn't in the ring, because that would be something that you would want to do center of the ring to get the crowd response. But there's obviously some reason why they didn't. And I'm thinking that that's probably why. She was probably sent home. Maybe she had doctor's appointments. Maybe, she obviously doesn't, whatever the case may be. But I agree with you. That should have been in the ring.
Yeah.
And I think there was probably a reason why. And the way they did it, considering there was no outside interference, it was just, or anybody else coming in, even like the 4 women that were in the match didn't come into the promo, didn't step on it. It was just her and Tony. That could have been filmed anytime. They could have known that after the show last week and taped it to avoid flying her back in from Texas, across the nation with her back being fucked up.
I said it before the show too, and I'm a big Thunder Rosa fan. I don't think her I'll be real, I don't think her championship run was as great as it could have been, knowing her talent, but I think those are some real tears. She was busted up about not being able to fight at All Out, and it sucks. And I hope
I've said it since day one of her title run. She's a better underdog chasing the belt than she is champion at this point in her career.
The only other things, I mean, Dax Harwood is a fucking star. Ricky Starks is a fucking star. Those two definitely are big time in the future. And that main event proved why that should have been the main event. People were talking about, I was watching 2 watch-alongs during, because I'm stupid, I'm crazy. But all they were talking about is the after effect of that title match, and they missed one of the best matches I've seen almost all year as far as 6-man matches. Those dudes were gold. 4 of the best wrestlers on the planet, in my opinion.
Mark this on your calendar that I'm actually going to agree with Jim Cornette on something.
Uh-oh.
Why in the fuck did Aussie Open stand on the floor for 30 seconds and wait for fucking Pac to do a moonsault onto them?
The camera work was good on that, though. It wasn't a wide shot. It was a closed shot, so you didn't see that. But that was a hell of a spot. There were some big-time spots in that match. And it's super impressive. I'm a big Ray Fenix fan, that's for sure. Ospreay had to show his shit off. I'm waiting for him to be in a singles match because he's in all of these 6 matches.
I do want to bring up one thing, though.
Sure.
Britt Baker put on a clinic on how to be a heel in a rival hometown.
Oh, yeah.
My God, the heat that she got, especially pulling out the terrible towel and wrapping herself.
Yeah.
It was pure. And then she beat a local.
Yeah,
Kylan Kings, Ohio.
Yeah,
I'll be a homer too. I love her black and gold attire.
Back to that main event, though. Also, if you haven't seen it, go check out the post show. Whenever Kenny Omega took the mic after Dynamite went off the air, he verbally jousted ever so slightly with Will Ospreay, but in the best fucking way possible. He said, "Oh, well, you were the main event tonight. You know, we have a tradition here where the main event sends everybody home happy. Blah, blah, blah. Here, carry this like you couldn't carry NJPW when I left."
Yeah.
Or New Japan when I left. Something like that. But it was fucking great. I really, really, really want a one-on-one match with Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega once Kenny's back, and all the rust is kicked off.
All of that.
Me too. Anything else on the show last night? Anyone got any last thoughts on the show last night?
Since Doc stole my thunder about Punk and Moxley, I'll see you guys next Thursday. Have a good one.
You sold that really well. All right. Crazy week, man. And like I've said for the past probably 6 months now, wrestling's given us a lot to talk about every week, and that's a good thing.
Confused.
I don't understand what I stole.
The same thing that I said right before we went on the air about, but I feel differently. You're gonna see MJF on Wednesday, and I still do think you see Punk turn
I didn't
on.
even hear you say
Moxley.
that. I was over there then. Remember?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Whoops.
Good on.
It's a
Good
very
on you.
interesting
From the
week.
fucking side, bitch.
Another thing I think they did well last night is they built the card for next Sunday. They gave us we have 9 matches already,
except for the main event.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that'll get shaken out. Swerve and Keith versus the Acclaimed is going to be awesome. I hope we finally get the turn. I hope everybody thinks Swerve's going to turn on Keith. I think Keith should turn on Swerve.
Agreed.
I think it'd be awesome.
Danielson and Jericho.
Starks, that's going to be a fucking phenomenal match.
Starks and Hobbs.
Starks showed you right there on the mic why he's every bit as good as everybody says he is.
He's amazing.
And he's ready to take that next step into that. Like, he's been a mid-carder. It's time for him to start walking to that upper mid-card.
Jungle Boy and Christian Cage. We talked about the 6-man match. Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns. Wardlow and FTR. Britt, Hater, Storm, and Sheeta. Woo!
Fucking awesome is it going to be to see FTR and the Machine Guns share the ring?
Please.
Phenomenal.
I love it. Oh, give it a rest, Monstar, you punk ass bitch.
You're
go
right,
make love to your
Monstar.
Rihanna
You're
poster.
right, Monstar.
All right, let's get into our other feature for this week, and that is commentators. I broke it up into 2 segments, which we'll talk about the greatest commentators of all time, which we will not include most recent ones, and then we'll talk about the recent ones as well, and our 2 cents and the 6 cents. Fair warning, don't get mad at me. These are just shit that I looked up off the internet.
Another one of your fucking Time Life list or something.
So I got
your
6
fucking
different
blurry
lists.
fucking graphics.
Some of them was from 2012, 2016. You need to check your eyes there, buddy.
Blake spends an absorbent amount of time combining lists and making.
Hey, this was an elaborate one, and some of these announcers you might not remember because they are old school in this top 20, and it is a top 20. I took the average of 6 different top 10s, top 8s, top 20s.
To the dartboard.
So starting at number 20, does anybody remember Stagger Lee Marshall?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
How can you not remember Stagger Lee? The simple fact of the matter is he was Chester Cheetah.
Oh, geez.
Do you remember all those commercials where it's just a picture of him going, and it was like, "Hey, Ed Lee Marshall down here at Pensacola, Florida." He was always in Pensacola, Florida.
Yes.
What the fuck is in Pensacola, Florida?
He is apparently. AWA from back in the day. I mean, that's look at that mustache. You got a WCW as well. Stagger Lee Marshall, a classic.
One of us for RWA has to grow one.
Oh, jeez.
Church, you could so pull off a Lee Marshall stash.
Nah, I'm good, thanks.
All right. Awesome.
Lord
This is a
Alfred
good
Hayes.
one. Yeah.
Lord Alfred Hayes.
The most, yes, he was commentary, but The most I remember about him is in those fucking shitty WWE videos. Well, WWF home video introductions where he's like, "This is Lord," you know, yeah, and then he would go through his little spiel of the greatest matches of blah blah blah.
There was
Him
a guy
and Shawn
named
were
another
like
British
WWE
announcer. I didn't know who
video.
Ken Walton was, but Ken Walton was on the list as well. But Lord Alfred Hayes is a memorable one there.
Yeah.
Coming in next, Michael Cole, a new guy, relatively new, making the list here at number 18.
He's number 18?
18?
Where did you get this fucking list from?
He was number 10 on one list, number 20 on the other, and he was not on the other 4. This is totally up for debate. We're going to talk about current ones.
There's
after
no
this.
debate. He should be top 3.
There you go. All right. You
I don't
got
think
your
top
opinion.
3.
Everyone's allowed to have opinion. This is up for debate. This is why we do this. Literally.
You're the master debater.
That's right. I am. I'm from the side. Dave Crockett, Davey Crockett. He's in at number 17. Still kicking, still doing his thing. Apparently, a little bit with the Crockett Promotions. He had a number 10 ranking, was the highest. Old school NWA. I love that old set. There he is. Once again, the mustache, the beard, the bow tie. You gotta love the bow tie as well. Mark Lawrence. Anybody remember him from World Class Wrestling? The voice of World Class back in the day.
Yeah, when I was a little kid, I remember.
Very old school. If you watch World Class Wrestling with the Freebirds, the Von Erichs, and all those guys, that's the dude you saw.
Before he went to WWE. The Dingo Warrior.
The Dingo Warrior, yes. Mike Tenay
just sent me my new house.
He
Another
had a 6 and a 10. The next guy here, I would move up probably into my top 5 because he's one of my all-time favorites. That's a personal thing, and that's Morrow. Love him.
Yeah,
he's one of my favorite announcers.
That's top 5 for me for sure.
Yeah,
he had a number 6, but like I said, a lot of these guys weren't in the rankings because a lot of them were old rankings. That's why I did a second segment on the current ones.
He did. Like his pop culture references.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've done a couple of them. Just a tribute to him because he was awesome when he did.
I like him and he's good, but he's too over the top for me.
I don't mind it. Granted, he's better when he dials back a little bit.
Yeah,
but he's one of those guys that automatically excites you more about the product and the way he describes it and the way he does it. Like Doc said, he has like that beautiful mind thing going on where like pop culture references and fucking analogies just pop in his head like Spitfire, and there's no fucking filter between here and here. They just come out.
Take criticism.
And it's
I like that shit. It reminds me of old hip hop because old hip hop used to always get all those pop culture references in the rhymes and stuff, and he does it like you said, like it's part of just the way he talks.
He can't take criticism worth nothing.
Well, he can't take JBL either.
Lance Russell of old WCW and Memphis Wrestling, very old school,
iconic voice.
I never really got that.
Yeah, he was probably one of the most boring ones out of all of these, so I wouldn't really have him in the list, but he made a bunch of the list.
Where's
Jim Cornette
from Southpaw Wrestling.
Cornette at number 13. Cornette with a guy we'll talk about later. Cornette with another guy we'll talk about later. And Cornette with another.
He was good on commentary, but he was so much better as a manager. I mean, there's a lot of those on that. Some guys made a better transition. Like, I know we're going to see Bobby the Brain Heenan at some point. Bobby, in my opinion, as good as he was as a manager, he was so much better on commentary.
Agreed.
I feel like it's the flip here. Like, Cornette was good on commentary.
Yeah.
He was so much better as a manager.
One of the ones we just saw a minute ago, and we've talked about him, just celebrated his 77th birthday. Good old Vinnie Mac.
Double date with the Peacemaker.
Good old World Championship Wrestling, Vinnie Mac.
It simply is unbelievable.
That's way back. There's him with Paul and Jerry.
He's one of my idols, man. He literally was. Like, I mean, before all the Austin, before I even knew he was a boss, he really set me up for commentary like he did.
Jerry is a snapshot in time, man. Like he was the voice of the Attitude Era as far as color commentary. But when you stick him in anywhere else, like when he comes back now and does something,
it's bad.
It's so dated.
Yeah. He's like that old great uncle that you have that always says the corny dumb shit, and you're like, okay.
Color comment, and you're like, what the fuck did you just?
Let's be honest. In this day and age, Jerry Lawler can't make any of the puppy references. He can't make any of the references that he used to make because, like, let's be honest. Once that starts, it's like, okay, see you, bye, Jerry.
Yeah, he would be canceled pretty immediately. Let's get into the top 10. Here's another one that was kind of boring, but a legend, Bob Caudle, old school. He had actually.
I mean, Bob Caudle's been. You think about NWA, you think about him, and he was some of the greatest.
There's a shift here between anybody like pre-84 to where the commentary was done so differently back then, where they didn't convey the excitement. They literally called it like a sports cast.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and not as a entertainer and not as a support for the entertainment.
More like a Walter Cronkite.
I'm glad you brought that up, because there is an evolution of wrestling commentary, in my opinion. And to me, it's one of the most important things. I mean, except if you're at a live event when you don't hear it, I think commentary to me is huge. I mean, some people might think of it differently. I'm sure you guys do, but that helps me tell the story to me.
The bottom line is we have a timeline of all these guys, as Doc said, calling it like Walter Cronkite. And then we had Gorilla Monsoon and Jesse the Body Ventura, who changed it. We got the straight man, and the color commentator being a color commentator, not just somebody who, he adds color to the broadcast. And that's when everything changed, because now you started to have defined characters. Yep. We had the straight guy doing the play-by-play, and then eventually you had the babyface play-by-play guy and the heel. You know what I mean? And that's where these guys got to start to become more of a character and help influence the product versus just reporting the product.
One of my favorites, and he's still going strong today. We talked about him a little earlier with the Sting reference. Oh, we still got some more.
That's Bob Caudle.
Bob's still
Bob Caudle actually still is technically around.
Tony Schiavone still kicking, still doing his thing. He got ranked at number 4, number 6 on a couple, number 12. He comes in number 9 on the average. One of my favorite of all time, definitely.
He's in the Jim Ross category of like they're fucking legends.
Yep.
Yeah. Agreed.
I think Tony's still a little sharper than Ross at this point.
Of course.
Definitely.
Of course. I don't hold that against him, though.
I still don't feel like he is sharp enough to be play-by-play anymore. And Tony is a little bit not as colorful as some of the other guys.
Schiavone.
But he's such an iconic voice in wrestling. Like, it just, when you hear it, you automatically go back to, that'll put butts in the seats.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
2 back-to-back here from a different company we haven't talked about. We got Paul Heyman at number 8 and Joey Styles at number 7.
So Heyman, I'm going with the same thing as Cornette. He's always a great commentator when they put him on commentary, but that's a waste of his talent. That is the best promo man in the business, the best writer in the business, the best booker in the business. Do the shit that matters. Get off commentary. Yeah. On the flip side, best commentator in the business, bar none.
Yeah, Joey Styles agreed.
Definitely. So the rest of the names are ones we've all kind of already mentioned. Go ahead, Doc.
Please, Scott. Okay, so Joey Styles. I'll say it once. There's always life when you're a little kid after your idols, and after Vince McMahon was Joey Styles. Joey Styles was why I wanted to do this. 110%, especially the day when there was a pay-per-view, and he did it. The first pay-per-view at ECW by his damn self, and it was phenomenal. I've never in my life heard somebody do a single commentary like I've heard people do commentary by themselves, but my God, that night when ECW hit pay-per-view, he called that shit amazing.
And dude, he almost played 2 characters. Like, it was almost like he was calling on himself. I mean, one minute he's, fucking advocating for the heels. The next minute he's fucking shocked by what they're doing. I mean, I don't give a shit what anybody says. Yes, his snippet of time in the business was unfortunately not as long. Like, we didn't get 25 years like we have of Michael Cole or Jim Ross. But if you want to talk about a firework in the fucking business,
King Rail, welcome.
Went straight to the top, shined bright, and changed the way commentary was done. Joey fucking Styles, for me, I not that I disrespect anybody else on the list, but number 1 with a fucking bullet. He was the best storyteller and the best character. The way he made you feel what the fuck was going on and changing, and the way he pervaded the emotion, bar none the best.
What's he doing now? Anyone?
Not wrestling.
It's not wrestling.
He's out of wrestling entirely.
Then all the big names we have been talking about. Jerry Lawler at number 6. We touched base on him a few times because everyone's been calling matches with him. There's him and JR.
I think of Church when I see him.
Really?
I see Jerry the King Lawler just a little bit, because Church does the damn it to hell, and like he has his. I mean, I don't know, Church. You could stop me if you want, but you honestly like some of the stuff, like some of the bad, the heel women in our RWA. She's a whore. Like, if you think about it, could you say some of that's a little bit Lawler influence?
Oh my! I mean, listen. I took a good amount of my influence from Bobby Heenan.
That's what I was going to say.
There was a little bit of Jerry Lawler thrown in there, but at the same
you got
time,
a strength with Jesse too.
Well, yeah, I did a little bit of Jesse, I will say as well. But you had like obviously the Bobby Heenan character didn't work for me. It worked for Bobby. Didn't work for me. So I had to tweak it to the best of my abilities. And so you add this and you add that and you bring in little pieces here and there. That's what I did.
It works.
I still do it on occasion, not as much as I used to, but.
What I will say about it is this: a long time ago, a worker referred to Church as a hybrid of asshole, and what he meant by that, he meant like Heenan.
That is a fucking amazing.
It's a good analogy. Good analogy.
Look, this is a straight shoot. Whenever RWA started, and I took power in RWA in my position, and we needed a commentary team. There, at that point in time, was probably 4 local commentary teams. Some of which who have went on to great success, called Ring of Honor, and everything that we were talking to and about bringing in. I knew without a shadow of a doubt what I wanted and who I wanted. Actually, Church and I called the very first RWA show. While I was doing double duty, Doc wasn't available, so I had to pull double duty that night. And after I just knew that Doc could be the straight-laced play-by-play guy and Church could push him and get that kind of Gorilla Monsoon, Jesse Ventura, Gorilla Monsoon, Roddy Piper, King Jerry Lawler, Bobby Heenan, Vince McMahon type thing where, we could get the, not necessarily edginess, but the dichotomy of, I'm trying to call the action, quit fucking around. And the dichotomy of, I'm going to say what I want, shut up. And it would just work. And they're obviously 14 years, 15 years later.
I was just going to say, how many years? 14, 15 years. That's crazy.
The old brain works pretty well up here when I put shit together.
13 or 14 years, me and that man.
So we're going to buzz through the top 5, go through the current ones, and then we do have a final list where I want to know who you would put in that 20 from the current ones. So we go to the top 5. Of course, Jesse the Body Ventura at 5. I got a couple shots of him. Yeah, okay, Jesse. And as Ray said earlier, how they changed the game. The Gov, yep. And there's one a little closer to my hairdo there. Gorilla Monsoon at number 4. Legend. Definitely a legend.
One of my influences.
Gordon Soley at number 3.
I always loved Gordon Soley, but his voice to me was too
monotone.
Yeah, he wasn't exciting.
It was too much of that kind of drawn out, like, oh God.
But back then, like you said, it was literally they were just there to call the play-by-play.
He was sportscasting is what he was doing. Yeah,
and
that's
then
what Gordon Soley was good at.
1 and 2 can be
the first one to really change that imprint.
Yeah,
I would agree. So 1 and 2 can be reversible in my opinion, but one of them got 3 out of the 6 as a number 1. So coming in at number 2, which a lot of people's number 1, after Gordon Soley, of course, gets his face up there again, is the Brain. Bobby the Brain. And at number 2, he has a number 2 ranking, number 2 ranking, number 2 ranking, number 1 ranking, and he was 12 on 1. So I don't know. But Bobby the Brain, definitely.
Number 12 was thinking, fucking moron.
Yeah, definitely a legend. And then number 1, obviously, if we're going to talk about the 2.
A picture of me and you, Church, right there.
Yeah, right. the fact is, Bobby
I was going to sneak one of you 2 in there.
One of the greatest things that Bobby Heenan ever said and did was in WCW with Brian Pillman. You guys probably know where I'm going with this. When he busted out, "What the fuck are you doing?" live on TBS.
Like Bobby was always just 2 seconds from what the fuck moment.
Yeah, the energy he brought was just legendary. And the guy's still going too. And like I said, I don't hold him to the same standard as back in the day, but back in the day, Jim Ross, legendary. He had 3 number 1s, a 2, a 7, and a 5. So got to keep.
A lot of people missing from this list. A lot of people.
Well, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that.
And this is the God's honest. I'm not trying to insult Jim Ross, as I do believe he's one of the top of all time. But do you think that he's damaging himself?
Yes.
Now. because
Yes.
I really do.
A little bit, yeah. I like how they're not using him as much.
Well, that's bullshit. For the last 3 weeks, he's been
That's
from start to finish, bell to bell at Dynamite, even though they said they were going to back
how
him
they
up.
how they were making him a feature for the last hour. I like
I
that
think
better
he should
than
be the last hour. I think he should call main events and main events only.
It'll be cool.
Just because they have Excalibur, who is the bastard child of Joey Styles on Adderall.
Taz, motherfucker,
He's
Taz.
fantastic.
So we're going to get to the six senses now. This is going to be the six companies right now that we talked about.
Yeah, they can move to this. Your soul man, they can move to this. It's brand new. Open your eyes and realize it's the new guys. New York, man.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
We start out with Impact. And we have, I believe, Impact's first, Tom Hannafan.
I like him.
I like Tom.
Along with the former Aiden English.
Career if he wouldn't have shown his dick to fucking bystanders.
D'Lo Brown on commentary too. Other ones.
Wait, you can't do that?
Impact, you got to name Don Callis, Don West,
I'm just
Matt Stryker, Jeremy Borash, Josh Matthews. I remember Jeremy Borash and Bob Ryder on a show called WCW Live. I don't know if anyone ever. It was a radio show. That was the first taste I ever had
in the AOL days.
Yes, before internet was the internet now, and I listened to it religiously and loved both of them. R.I.P. Bob Ryder.
Look, there's a couple that you just mentioned, like for instance, Josh Matthews. He was not terrible whenever he was with WWE, but he had somebody barking in his ear. The minute you took the reins off of him, though, he hurt that fucking product.
Yeah.
Impact was unwatchable with Josh Matthews on commentary. He's fucking terrible. Like it literally made the show worse. Honestly, it was almost as bad. He wasn't on this list for good reason, but Don West used to make the show fucking terrible until the last like 6 months of his commentary career. He went heel. It became entertaining as fuck, and then they shit him. It made him the Home Shopping Network fuck boy.
That's right. Yes.
Fuck boy. I love it.
Fuck boy. Okay.
Hey.
Fuck.
What's his name?
You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Kozlov and Kevin Kelly in New Japan. Other ones over.
He's an underrated gem, man.
Yeah, he is.
He's very fucking good at what he does.
Except that picture.
Kevin Kelly.
Like, if you look at that face, it's like, and you,
doesn't make
for a moment.
You know what it looks like that from that picture. What face he's making?
An O face.
Oh yeah.
Oh jeez.
It was at that moment Kevin Kelly realized it wasn't just a fart.
There's back in NWA days, Joe Galley, as well as
He's all right.
Cornette. He's not bad.
Cornette kind of said
that team when they started was very good with Galley and Cornette. Cornette had kind of eased into the thing, and he got canceled for some stupid shit.
Yeah,
it made no sense why he was canceled.
Tim Storm, Austin Idol, Tyrus, they've all gotten their hands in Medusa as well. Stu Bennett, when they called him Stu Bennett, all NWA announcers at one point.
Stu Bennett wasn't bad. Obviously, he's doing.
That's CJ's friend.
Hey, I'm happy. I'm just happy.
Oh yeah, she's good peeps.
I'm happy to see a woman getting a fair shake at commentary in NWA.
Yeah,
I feel like Renee should have gotten a better shake in WWE and never did. Madison Rayne did commentary, but unfortunately she had to do it next to her dipshit husband, Josh Matthews, which made it fucking terrible. But I feel like Velvet is doing a pretty good job just adding a little bit of color. She has obviously the previous worker experience.
Yeah.
More of a color commentator. And I think that suits her well. And I hope, that we start to see a little bit more of this.
I agree.
Yeah, we saw Lita do it a little bit. Unfortunately, she doesn't process as quick. Probably too many swan
You know who I don't like in NWA? She's not commentary, but she's not bad to look at. Is that Mae Valentine? God, is she fucking awful with backstage interviewing?
Yeah.
AEW, Excalibur, Jim Ross, Tony Giovanni. Obviously, Taz. We talked about Taz earlier. Impact. He called some
Don Callis,
well. Mark Henry, Alex Marvez. Some of the other ones that have called AEW.
They've thrown a bunch of shit at the wall, but the bottom line is Excalibur and Taz should be calling the show, and then
Kevin
they should
Kelly and Nigel.
People here and there.
Nigel
old ROH.
Does really well as a commentator.
And then of course new ROH.
I really like Nigel in NXT. I thought he was fantastic in NXT. I thought they kind of fucked up with the UK closing down, though, because he did go home. Maybe they'll talk him back into coming back.
Caprice Coleman, great guy. Got to
Caprice.
meet, actually have dinner with him. Really good dude.
He's not bad on commentary either, but I feel like he's better in the ring.
Agreed.
And he's ask that man how old he is, and then prepare to shit your pants.
Yeah,
Because you'll never fucking believe it.
yeah, he is. He's older. He is older.
There's Wade Barrett,
I think
NXT.
Derek Brown is calling.
Yeah.
I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
I wish he'd go back to the ring though. My God, he was awesome.
This was the head the lineup a while back. Pretty interesting how it's evolved,
Marseille.
and it's evolved into what we have here in Raw.
I'll tell you what, for Jimmy Smith being
I like him.
for admittedly though not being a lifetime wrestling fan, he does a great job.
He does.
Yeah.
You know, he's not.
Oh, you better get your chat bots on the adult dating site.
We don't talk about him here. And there's SmackDown, of course, Michael Cole and Pat McAfee.
McAfee's the fucking name, plain and
most
simple.
entertaining commentary team currently.
Yes.
So now this is what I waited for. I want your opinions and you guys in the chat as well. Here's our final little list. There's our top 20 that we had. And then there are a slew of honorable mentions, including ones that shouldn't be on that list. And
Oh
ones
my
that probably...
God, Mike Adamley, eat a bag of dicks.
So I tried to cram in as many as I could. So we will start. We'll start with
Jess Harvey.
Oh yeah, it was Jess.
Harvey.
Doc. I'm gonna start with you, Doc. Is there any that you would move from that non-list into the top 20?
I'd rewrite the whole fucking list.
My God, I would actually
Pick three.
Pick top three.
Pick three that you'd move into that top 20, no matter where in the top 20. But
Okay. Excalibur.
because there's probably
McAfee.
7 or 8 that I would move over there at this point.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's more than McAfee. Like I said, McAfee. I said Excalibur, and I'm gonna go one more. You know, I'm gonna give it to my boy, Corey Graves.
There you go. Piper was actually 21 if I had the list. He was listed on a couple of these as well. What about you, Church? You got any that you definitely would move over into the top 20 of all time from today's?
Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this list, and it's, you know, I'm running through all of these names, and I'm running through the commentary in my head of these people, and it's just like, holy cow.
I see some admissions.
Well, yeah. Listen, as bad as he was at times, he's the one that kicked off Nitro. I got to throw Bischoff in there.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't terrible. He wasn't great, but he wasn't terrible. Yep. So I mean, I got to throw Bischoff in there. Listen, as a quote unquote old school heel, I absolutely love Roddy Piper on commentary, just losing his ever loving mind over some of the smallest things, and like Undertaker's debut, Survivor Series. You have him going, look at the size of that ham hock.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
You're trying to get over this guy, and yet you call him a fucking ham hock. Like,
big shout out to British Gamer, my boy Dylan Travis over there in the UK. It's like what, 4 a.m?
He's there in the honorable mention list, but let's not forget how great fucking Randy Savage was when called into commentary.
Yes.
And then
he was in the 25. He was in
one
the
of
top
the
25.
greatest talkers of all time, and one of the most entertaining commentators of all time. Not on the list. It's Dusty fucking Rhodes, baby.
Oh, Dusty, yeah, Dusty.
I do want to throw somebody that is not on that list at all in there.
Training here,
please.
No, I'm saying like, I'm trying to.
JBL.
Oh,
JBL.
Wow.
Yes. Good.
Okay.
Very good
JBL.
Not on that list. Wow.
Oh my God! When he did commentary next to Michael Cole as a heel color commentator, I mean, him and Michael Cole did amazing work on SmackDown together. Whenever he was a heel color commentator, he absolutely was. So I have to throw JBL in on that.
Absolutely. Also, not on this list, you got Booker T. Now that we're talking about workers,
he was in there.
Shucky quack.
I'm not saying he was
That's
great.
what I tried. Not the workers did also call it.
Samoa Joe was there through one of the hardest times of wrestling because you're during pandemic era.
Yeah.
I loved him on commentary.
He's getting a bunch of shit right now, but CM Punk did commentary for 9 months while he was hurt, and he was fucking amazing at it.
Yeah. I like Paul White when he started out on Dark. I think Big Show was fucking hilarious when he started.
Jericho didn't do too bad.
Jericho.
I like Big Show on commentary.
I do too. I love Big Show.
You know who should be on this list because he's made MLW or ROH, and that's Pittsburgh's own Joe Dabrowski. He should be in there.
Overrated.
There you go.
Ouch.
Yeah.
CJ, you got any thoughts with the ones from the
commentary partner for a while?
You put on Taz, McAfee, and Graves should be on that list.
Yep, definitely. Earned it within the last 5, 6, 7 years. Definitely. I'll throw them in there for sure.
Yeah.
That's about it. Unless you guys got any other thing. I had to throw Mark Madden in there too for shits and giggles.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Best looking big man on color commentary.
There you go.
Oh,
I like the Big Show on commentary. Well, that's our little look back at, and it's supposed to be a flawed thing, so we can debate it. We can talk about what we would do, what we wouldn't do. But one last thing to talk about at the end of the day. Actually, you said Church doesn't know this, but I have some of my pet peeves. If you know people that say these words, they say it a lot. At the end of the day is one of them. To tell the truth or not going to lie. Doc's a big not going to lie guy. I've heard him say that a bunch, but or you normally lie? I don't know. So this is what we do.
He does all the time.
For our final segment at the end of the day. And you must start out your final thought with at the end of the day. So CJ, at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, it's been a hell of a week. I'm over it, and a lot of good wrestling coming up in the next weekend. You got Clash at the Castle, you got All Out. So
and even NXT's World Collides should be a pretty decent
right.
show.
That's
man.
Saturday too, I think.
Sunday at 4 is Worlds Collide. Then at 7 would be All Out, and Clash at the Castle is early on Saturday, I believe.
What are you bitches over there scheming on?
It's just him being funny.
Kiss Church's forehead.
No way! I know where you're going now.
From the side.
I gotta get by from. You do your end of the day first.
All right, Ray, at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, it's fucking awesome to have Church with us.
Yeah.
I miss one of my best friends. We're never going to come to hang out anymore. And I get to share a screen, a microphone, dinner, and maybe some sweet, sweet loving with my best friend.
Reach around. Who's the big spoon? Who's the little spoon?
Obviously, motherfucker.
There's a lot of love in the room. A lot of love in the room.
At the end of the day, I'll say this. You look at these commentary teams, you look at everything, you look at like what they've been through over the years. Honest to God, 14 years, they've had a hell of a ride. And we're going to keep going until the wheels or whatever falls off. But there would not be a Doc without Church. Bottom line, no ands and buts about it. Without Church, there would not be me. So,
Church, let's not make this the only time you ever join the show. Church, glad to have you. I'm glad you could finally make it. Church, at the end of the day, my friend.
Yeah, listen, at the end of the day, I've heard this said before, and I'm going to steal it just because it's true. When it comes to wrestling, the guys in the ring are the musicians. They're performing the music. But when it comes to music, you also have to have lyrics. And that's where the commentary comes in.
Love it.
And there are some who can perform the lyrics to the best of their abilities, and some who just fucking show up.
Brilliant. That's great to say. At the end of the day, we talked about this before, and I talked about 4 things that I think are big as far as a wrestler goes. And obviously, their in-ring, their fighting, their appearance, their gear, their specific presentation, their gimmick, their persona, or their character. CJ brought it up, and I definitely want to throw it in there. Connection with the fans is big. But number 5, I got to throw in commentary as being so important to pro wrestling to me. And that's why, I mean, when you watch it, how many times have we talked in the last 4 or 5 weeks that, man, this happened, but I'm so glad the commentary picked up on and explained it a little more.
Hey, without commentary, it's 2 oiled up guys in leotards rolling around in a ring.
It's still fun. Well, that's it for this week. Next week, we got a lot.
Happy 16th birthday to my daughter today, too.
Yes, happy
Yeah.
birthday, Allie.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to me about 4 days ago. I'm old. 49, you
Yeah.
young pussy.
Happy birthday. That's
You
right.
young-
Blake,
you young-
we can not announce it.
That's all. I didn't care about it. Next year's my 50th, then we'll worry about it.
Oh, God.
Jesus Christ. All right.
Get rid of the old tone.
I
He
will
might
be
take
live.
over the old cantankerous fuck
I will,
spot from
we'll be
Doc.
live for LTD in a minute. We will have news on all these local shows next week that are happening this weekend, and we got a lot to preview next week. It's a great time to be a wrestling fan, people. From the side. See you next week. Oh, one last thing. Don't be an analyst. Watch wrestling and have fun. Everyone that's out there that's
We
watching.
fucking live still?
Yes.
Yeah, we're
everyone
still
out there is
live.
giving shit about what's happening.
You can't just go back.
Don't overthink it. Watch wrestling and enjoy it, you pussies. Don't be a dick. Just love what's out there and quit bitching about it. Get off your fucking keyboards being a keyboard warrior.
Would you take us offline?
How it's supposed to be. Ah!